But if you don't speak up for yourself here, which is, I had to learn that here, if you don't really speak up for what you need here, you can get just, smacked down, if you will, or you can deal with a lot of suffering. Hi, this is Rajni, and I want to talk about self-advocacy today, about how to learn how to advocate for yourself, how to not feel guilty about it, and how to realize that it's important for you to have whatever, whatever issue that you need to have solved that makes it like, a quality of life thing, or it matters to you, how to speak up. And I am here today at my old apartment building in Manhattan, just visiting. And I was really thinking about how many gifts I got living here, living in New York City. There were also some, challenges, but I think that New York gives you this amazing ability to learn how to speak up for yourself. It's a city where there's so many people and everybody is trying to, help themselves and get their lives, going how they want to get going. But if you don't speak up for yourself here, which is, I had to learn that here, if you don't really speak up for what you need here, you can get just, smacked down, if you will, or you can deal with a lot of suffering. So I learned how to really, politely, with love, with care, say, hey, this isn't working for me, or I would like a different thing. And sometimes I wasn't met back with a lot of compassion, and sometimes I was. But regardless, I think it's so important for each and every one of us, especially all of us good girls, nice guys out there who were conditioned to not want to ruffle any feathers or not want to say what we needed to say, because we're afraid that somebody might be disappointed in us or they're going to judge us or whatever, to learn how to state what you need and how to figure out how to get that need met, whether it's somebody helping you get your need met or whether it's you asking somebody for help. So I just want to say, I was just a little nostalgic and I was thinking about some of the lessons here. So thank you for listening, and we're going to have more about this in the following section. So as I was saying, it was New York City and living in New York City that really helped me hone my self-advocacy skills. I had learned, how to stand up for myself or ask for my needs in different situations, but it was not solidified until I really was tested by New York. That building that you just saw me in, I had a very loud neighbor who would literally pound on the ceiling in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m. And at that time, I wasn't getting a lot of sleep as it was because I was in training. And it got so bad that, I couldn't sleep. But as the good girl that I was taught to not ruffle feathers. Don't break the rules. Keep things harmonious, right? These are the rules that good girls are taught. Be sweet. Keep a smile on your face. Don't make anybody angry. So I grinned and bared it, as they say, right? For a while. And I would complain to my super and I would tell him, but there wasn't like real action being taken. Then one night there was this huge thud and it was scary. I woke up right out of bed, sweating, and I was like, that's it. I need to say something. So I went upstairs and I knocked on the door. There was no answer. He wasn't going to open the door. So I went downstairs and I found out that my next door neighbors, they were also awakened. And one of the guy there was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? What happened? And I said, I don't know. He said, we just got startled out of bed. So he went up there. Again, no answer. So now we're in this like communal getting our needs met kind of moment. And we had to escalate it to the super. It was a very long process that really, truly never got fully resolved. But from this very painful experience at times. And anybody who's, worked really hard all day and all you want to do is collapse in your bed and then you get waken up at 4 in the morning or 2 in the morning, you know what I mean. Through these experiences where your needs are not getting met and you have to speak up, you develop a skill, and that's called self-advocacy. And it's like a muscle. You have to strengthen it over time, and in difficult situations, you get stronger and stronger. The hard thing as a good girl is also that, and not only a good girl, really anybody, we're taught that we're not even allowed to advocate for our needs because you're not allowed to have needs. So why advocate, right? People who are needy are thought to be weak or maybe, complainers or needy. And nobody wants to be any of those things because it makes us feel less than. So once again, if you are in the same situation I was, somebody who's walking around in the world with a lot of this good girl programming or nice guy programming, for those of you who identify with any of that, you're walking around and you're thinking, it's not okay for me to have a need. It's not okay for me to say anything. Why? Because I'm not supposed to ruffle any feathers. So this is the layers. These are the patterns that we have downloaded as children, and then they come out as adults, and they actually stand in our way on the path of well-being, on the path of wellness. If you truly want to embrace well-being on all levels, emotional, physical, mental, or spiritual, the skill of self-advocacy is essential. I cannot tell you how many times when I was working in my previous career as a physician, people who advocated for themselves a lot of times did a lot better than those very sweet people who didn't ruffle any feathers. You didn't hear a peep from them, but they also got a different level of care. And I hate that it's that way. I wish we could all be conscientious and treat everybody like we want to be treated. But the truth is that it's usually, as my really good friend from college used to say to me, Rajni, it's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. And I love that statement, right? So sometimes we need to get a little squeaky. Again, I don't want to say that it's bad. And we always look at squeaky wheel as a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is speaking up is really important if you want to create the life that's meant for you, that fits you, and that's based on your values. So I'm going to give you 3 main points. And I have learned these points kind of the hard way. So that's why I distilled it into these 3 main points for you guys to take away and hopefully implement in your own life. Number 1, you got to know what your needs are. Many of us are never taught to reflect and ask ourselves, what do I need? For a lot of us, we were told what we need. We were told how to be. We were told what's okay to want and what's not okay to want. And so that's what I'm going to say, is reflect on what you actually need. What is the problem and what do you need to solve it? The second part is, can you meet your own needs somehow? Or do you need to enlist somebody with the skills to help you in whatever the problem is? So for example, if I need somebody to help me out with my plumbing, I need a plumber. I don't have those skills. But if I have another skill that maybe it's like cooking an immune boosting soup, I have that skill. Wonderful. I can meet my own need. Then you move on to the third step, which is to either meet the need if you have the skills, or you ask somebody else. And this is a caveat with asking somebody else. First of all, it's really important when you make the request to get your need met is you approach them if you can. I mean, if it's an emergency plumbing situation, you're calling them immediately. But let's say it's not an emergency. Call them a week in advance. Let them know, hey, can you come out? Can you help me? If it's a family member, you want to give them, or a friend, you want to give them enough room to say no. Because when they feel, if they feel it's a demand or if it has to be done urgently, it causes stress for them. And then you may not get your need met, and it can create a lot of tension in the relationship. So that's what I have for today. Remember, self-advocacy is not optional when it comes to your well-being. And if this was helpful, please like the video and subscribe. I'd love for you to know when I put out my next video of the month. And if you'd like to be on my mailing list and know about other things that I'm doing, I also have some personal shares in my newsletter. Go ahead and sign up at www.simplyrajni.com. Once again, www.simplyrajni.com. There's a free gift also that you'll get, which is the amazing, I've heard from people who've looked at the one-page document to give you 5 energy rituals to help you keep your energy up, keep you vibrant, and keep you just generally feeling good all day. And I think people who feel good, they bring more light and love in this world, and we need more of that. So here's to your wellness. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Take care.